Hey, everybody, welcome back to regularly scheduled hostilities. Today, we are joined by a very special guest. You guys to welcome Wrestling Inc. founder and contributor Raj Giri to the show. If I say your name wrong, I apologize.
Now you got it. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Make sure to follow him. He's a great follow on Twitter. It's very entertaining to follow you during the show because your opinions you don't hold back. That's kind of like, that's how wrestling fans are these days in general, I think. Very vocal and, yeah.
Yeah. And it can be a little tribal as well. But yeah.
Very true. So one thing we do for guests on this show, it's his fault. So we ask every guest, do you know who Billie Eilish is?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I do. Yes. Pop star.
Okay. All right. So we're one for two. We had Jason Duran from ARW on here, and he did not know who she was.
And
he
I
doesn't know who she is.
He don't either.
And it kind of pissed me off one day. So now,
I mean,
if I didn't have daughters, I wouldn't know who she was.
There you go.
Well, hey, he knows who she is, so that's
at
another
least
one
he
for
knows
me.
who she
But at least he has a good reason. I don't have daughters. I have cats. It'd be weird if I have cats and know who Billie Eilish is.
Well,
That is.
All right. So kind of a busy week. For the
Wrestling,
last
yeah.
couple weeks. Well, hell, since Triple H took over WWE, I feel like everything in wrestling's been going crazy. So let's start out with a positive. So War Games is coming to Survivor Series. We heard the rumors when Triple H first got in. He's moving stuff around really quick. Like he's not wasting any time signing people, doing all this. So what's your excitement level of War Games coming to the main roster?
Oh, I think it's a great move. I think it's brilliant. For Survivor Series, it's just been so stale for years. There's none of the matches have any sort of repercussions or any stakes. So it's a pay-per-view that's forgotten about as soon as it's over. So growing up when I was a wrestling fan, Survivor Series was one of the big four, and it was the one opportunity you got to see, the big stars competing against each other, outside of traditional singles matches. So I think mixing it up, doing something new, the War Games cage, the dual ring cage is just impressive enough. So it's something different. It's long overdue. Vince always had a weird thing about using WCW ideas, for a main roster, for a big main roster show. So I think it's great. And, all these different moves that Triple H is making, I think it's brilliant, and it's a breath of fresh air for sure.
The only sad thing, I wish Cody was healthy.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
It
fair.
sucks. He's going to have to
That is
wait.
fair,
The timing might work out for him, because if he's back right in time for the Royal Rumble, I would assume he's the favorite to win.
Yep.
I would as well.
Me too.
And that's cooler than Money in the Bank, in my opinion. I'd rather be a Rumble winner than a Money in the Bank winner.
I agree.
So,
Well, let's transition because we've, for the last month, tried to figure out how to get one belt off Roman. Because like you said,
great
so
question.
my line of thinking is if it's Roman Rock, the Rock has to win the Rumble if Roman doesn't lose a belt, right? So the reports are they're trying to figure out how to get a belt off Roman without him actually losing, which I think put him in a triple threat match and don't let him get pinned. But they want to do it more creatively, which is fine. How would you go about getting one of the belts off Roman without hurting his which I think his credibility is fine, but apparently internally that's what they're worried about right now.
Yeah, I do the same thing with the triple threat. There was that one WrestleMania where they did Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, and Chris Benoit, and I think it was both the Intercontinental title, and I don't think
it was the European, I think.
It was the European title, yeah. And Kurt Angle lost both titles in that match without ever getting pinned. But I don't think you should do that with Roman. But, I think you have Triple H make a special appearance on SmackDown one night saying, there's a new regime and both those titles are going to have to be defended. And, and so now he's going to have to defend both. You do that triple threat. He pins somebody to hold on to, one of the titles, and then somebody pins the other guy to win the second. And maybe Drew McIntyre, he's been on a bit of a roll lately. So at least then you have one babyface, one heel, and you have at least different dynamics on both shows.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the idea too of like the Money in the Bank being used to separate it. Whether Theory gets the pin and Paul Heyman's like that's only for one belt, which still makes Reigns look weak, which we can't do. But
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like I like that idea too. Just something different. I
It's
don't
like
know.
Vince left
Something
him
different.
in the biggest pickle there is. Like he's like, how do I get out of this without like damaging Roman? Because I guess Vince's probably plan was probably for The Rock to win the Rumble and go to WrestleMania and be the most predictable. We went to the Rumble this past year.
We did.
We're in Ohio, so we went to St. Louis. And show quality wise, it was probably the worst Royal Rumble I've seen in the last 10 years.
Shit McMahon show, man.
Like
It's the
we knew,
greatest Rumble of all time.
like when Brock
Yeah.
lost, like it's like, yeah, he's coming out. And then he came out, and it's like people literally started to leave.
They
like
did.
they already knew until Shane McMahon tried to book himself to win, whatever
did.
happened backstage.
He did.
But yeah, it was
Yeah.
kinda-
I mean, I personally like the idea of one champion, and one set of tag team champions, and one set of one women's champion.
I agree.
But to do that, you have to have them going on both shows, not just stay on one.
Right.
And if you could have Roman appearing on Raw more often, split the 1 month he's feuding with someone on Raw, the next month he's feuding on SmackDown, then I think it could work. But by just having him only on SmackDown, hardly ever on Raw, then it's either better. I don't think they should take the belt off of Roman right now, but then it's either better to split it up or
Right.
at some point get a champion that could appear on both shows.
Right.
You can't have a part-time champion forever,
Can't.
especially like you mentioned Raw. I mean, Raw used to be their big show was 3 hours for one, and we're just not going to. Triple H is doing a good job of making the IC title and the US titles more relevant, but you still need your guy to be on
Main
these
guy.
shows.
Your main guy. Yep.
So it is a weird situation, I think.
Yeah, and I think by not having a world champion on, it just makes that show feel a little inferior.
Absolutely.
I thought Sammy accidentally costing Roman the title against like a KO would be a way you could go. Then that kind of hits two things that gets Sammy the hell out of the bloodline, which we know is going to happen anyway.
Yep.
And then KO, which I think 95% of wrestling fans are like, he had, what's it been 5 years or something since he's had a title?
5
So
years.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while.
KO's been it's been a long time
Too
coming
long.
that he actually is a world champion. I mean, they ruined his first run with the Goldberg thing where they had
Yes, they did.
but him and Jericho was
He was
absolutely,
next.
they were money. That feud was great, but
It
they
was.
kind of ruined that.
They did.
But
I don't think he should be pinning. I just don't think Roman should be pinned right now until it's time to move it on to the next big star. And right now, in my opinion, that seems like it's Cody. We'll have to see when he comes back if it sustains. But I think Cody, if he can stay as over as he was when he left, I think he'll be more over. Then I think he should beat Roman at Mania for one of the titles, and you can do Roman, The Rock one night, Roman defending the next night.
yep,
I like that.
I do too.
you have
I
two
like that.
titles: defend the SmackDown one against The Rock,
Yep.
defend the Raw one against Cody.
But then what lineup do you do? Because so Cody had to be the first guy because you can't have The Rock lose the first night. The Rock would be the second night for sure, right?
The Rock would be
Because he's The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock would have to be the second night.
So
Yeah,
The
he
Rock
would.
is going in. So that would make Reigns going into that match already a loser.
Yeah, and then he beats The
Mhm.
Rock, and then all as well.
And I guess that's fair.
I don't know. It's a tricky
Yeah.
situation.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they can go, but I think coming out of Mania, either Roman shouldn't be champ, or if there's two world champs, he shouldn't be both of them.
I agree. It's a tough spot. It's tough, man.
That is tough.
Here's something you're not going to agree with.
Uh-oh.
All right, so
Oh, here we
as
go.
soon as this
Me and you,
happened,
Chuck, might
I
not
knew
agree
that
on
he was going to freak out.
I didn't say anything.
No,
You
but
knew I was already freaking out. so-
I already knew what I was coming into this week when this happened. I watched the press conference. I get it, like the business thing. We talked a little bit
Sure.
before we came on.
Right.
I get it. Logan Paul's a huge draw. Apparently, the guy over in Saudi, this is what he wanted. I mean, he pretty much does book
That's
most
fair.
of these shows.
That's fair.
But I think of it like Logan Paul's not going over here, and him doing this saves one of his legitimate competitors from having to go to Saudi and lose. So like, have Logan Paul do his thing, disappear until Mania season. Roman just goes on to War Games apparently, and then we'll see who the Bloodline faces there. So, what's your thoughts on Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns? Crown jewel, right?
Crown jewel.
Crown jewel.
Crown jewel. Yeah, I mean, I had tweeted before they announced that match, I think on like Thursday or Friday, that I thought it's a brilliant move just because you're not wasting an opponent for Roman. It's a pay-per-view where we're spending some people are spending $0 on it, some are spending $5. on Peacock, so it's not like they have to worry about pay-per-view buys or selling tickets, because these are sold shows to Saudi Arabia, so they're not making any money off the gate, and they want a big name that can draw attention, because these Saudi shows are a big deal to their bottom line. So I think it just works out, and Logan Paul, his fight with Mike Tyson did really well. So he's well known in that demo, and I wouldn't even say 18 to 49. I'd say 18 to 34. He's a decent sized name. Now, whether that's going to cause people to tune in, I don't know. Just because he's been there for a while now, and a lot of the novelty with Logan Paul has worn off. But I still think it's a smart move, and it's a way to get Roman an opponent without going through a Kevin Owens right now, or a Seth Rollins, or someone else that you could save for one of your actual pay-per-views.
Yes. My worry was KO was just going to go over there and lose. And it's like, well, that feud just got wasted for no reason at all.
And this is why I don't know who Logan Paul is. I turn 35 later this month. So that's why I'm at the very end of that.
Did you know who he was before WrestleMania, before the
None of us did.
None of us did. I'm not a big sports guy.
Jake Paul? Okay.
I knew who Jake Paul was.
I don't know who he is.
I mean, didn't he start off just randomly calling out like boxing legends and stuff, or like the most high profile people?
I'm not super familiar with them either. I just know them from fighting Tyron Woodley, and I think that those were both Jake Paul. He fought Tyron Woodley and
the Mayweather fight. I'd heard of Logan Paul because he did fight Mayweather, and I think that was it. I never put two and two together. When he came to WWE, I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
I said Tyson. I meant Mayweather, of course.
I was confused by that. It would be different. I was like, I don't think Mike Tyson's fighting anymore.
No, Jake Paul was on a card that I think he was on the card that Tyson was on.
Gotcha.
And that's where he got. I forget who he knocked out. I could be wrong. I don't watch any of those celebrity boxing cards, but I've heard their names through that.
I gotcha. And I didn't know who Mayweather was until he was in WWE beating up the Big Show.
Oh, no, me too. I didn't know who he was either.
I didn't know who Bad Bunny was until he came into WWE.
Oh yeah, and then Bad Bunny.
I just don't know these things.
I wish I didn't know
It's
who
like
Bad Bunny was.
we went to Rumble in St. Louis, the biggest pops. Rey Mysterio,
huge.
I thought the roof was gonna blow off that place.
Yeah,
that guy's
big time.
I did not realize he was still that over.
He is.
Bad Bunny
Was over.
I booed him.
and
I did too.
the Shield.
I did.
Seth Rollins' Shield entrance was the first thing that happened, and the
Yes.
crowd went insane
Lit
when
up.
he came out to the Shield music. But Bad Bunny's super over too, and he'll be
He's
back
over.
soon.
Yeah, he's over.
He is
Look,
over.
I brought that up.
One of our podcast co-hosts, Issa, NYC Demon Diva, she's a huge Bad Bunny fan, and I didn't really know who he was, before his appearances, and then Issa sent me some playlists, and I was like, oh, I know like a bunch of these songs, I just never knew, they were by him. But I think that's a lot of the things with celebrity now. I'm in my 40s, so it's not like you have celebrities like Mike Tyson and Michael Jordan and Madonna that everyone knows. Now it's more fragmented, and it's like you have your YouTube celebrities, and you have your pop singers, and you have your hip hop celebrities, and it's just not, you don't have someone as well known. Right now almost the biggest one is The Rock. And outside, and since then, I mean, how many actors are really since The Rock became a superstar have really transcended and become like those giant superstars like we used to have with Tom Cruise and Will Smith and all these other guys? You just don't Julia Roberts, you just don't see that anymore.
Absolutely true. I mean, you have your superhero genre, like the Robert Downey Jr. in that one role.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have these people who are everywhere anymore. You're right.
Yeah.
Now transitioning from Bad Bunny to like probably the most talked about thing during Raw this week, the White Rabbit.
Yep, White Rabbit.
Great song on my running playlist.
I had to like add it back on my phone. I was like, I forgot about that song.
Yeah.
A ton of theories. Who do you think this is about? Because my general feeling is like Cross is like, I know Karrion Kross did this, and I forget ROH, wherever he was previous. I think he used the White Rabbit as part of his gimmick, but he's already there. So like, I don't know why re-debuting him twice does any good. But then it says 923 on 923. Why do you bring Bray Wyatt back on a random episode of SmackDown like kind of in the middle of the build for Extreme Rules. But then, I don't know if you saw this or not, you probably have. But then if you look on this picture in the upper left, you see the lantern and the fireflies, which I didn't notice. Somebody on Twitter pointed this out.
I didn't notice either.
Triple H is teasing me as the biggest Fiend fan in the world.
You are.
I really want this to be him.
He's bought so much merch, man. It's crazy.
I think
All of his merch.
I spent $400
He did.
and dressed up as him for Halloween. I mean, I bought the WWE
You
title.
did.
He
It looked
won
good.
the title in Saudi the day before his Halloween party. So I had the red belt already. I had the red belt. I had the
did.
hammer, the mask.
Even the pants, man. The pants are
everything.
crazy.
Yeah, I had the puppets in the living room. Like everybody was here.
Everywhere.
But anyway, who do you think this is for?
I do think it's Bray Wyatt. Yeah, again, if Karrion Kross wasn't already on the main roster, I could definitely see it. But it doesn't make sense to do these vignettes for someone already there, unless it's something completely out of the box. But I just don't see it being for someone already there. I think it's Bray Wyatt. You did mention it this Friday. I would have, if it is Bray Wyatt, I would have liked them to build it up a little longer, maybe a few weeks, as opposed to you did the hard tease on Monday and he's coming on Friday. But who knows? Maybe Friday ends up being some other clue for another date. But I think it's Bray Wyatt. It's been talked about that he's probably, that he's been in talks about returning again soon. So him in WWE makes the most sense. I didn't see him fitting in AEW really. So
No.
He did it.
No,
Absolutely
and
not.
like, what better time to bring him back? It's Halloween. Like all his stuff will say he moved merch like nobody else, which
He did.
I know him and Vince. I mean, the reports are they didn't see eye and eye creatively, but like the dude printed money for that company. Like like he was the top merch seller there for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I look back at SummerSlam 2019 when he debuted that character, and he wrestled Finn Balor, and this was before they started doing all the light turning red and the light staying red for his matches. But you go back, and if you could bring back that character where he wasn't supernatural, he was just badass character, cool entrance, and fans were chanting "This is awesome" when it was over, which you don't really see that much, except unless you have 1,000 kickouts at 2. So It was something special if you go back and watch it. It was great, and I'd love to see that. It sounds like he's going to be something different, but I'd like to see some variation of that.
Did you see the pictures of like the rabbit? Like, I guess it's another part of his character where like the designs and all that stuff with like, Triple H said he's a brilliant, crazy mind that never stops working. So it'd be exciting to see him back being able to control his own stuff.
I remember when he broke Finn Balor's neck at that SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And actually the thing that disappointed me a little bit when that match was awesome. And then he did that thing to Finn. And then when he disappeared, Finn like was looking around like all crazy. He's like, he should have stayed down.
Yeah.
Right.
Broke.
Right.
Yeah, the
That
neck
should have been like a stretcher job or something.
Right.
Absolutely.
the neck it's like in the video game, that's your secondary finisher. Break their neck.
Yeah.
Make your sister have it.
Yep, there you go.
And that Bray thing, I think the numbers that we've been talking about, it kind of reminds me of Brody Lee when he went to AEW. He kept saying it's Wednesday night. You know what that means? It's Tuesday night. You know what that means? I feel like that's kind of the same thing. They're just like throwing dates just to get you to think about it and talk about it. It's pretty cool.
Well, the White Rabbit stuff worked. It makes every little part of Raw, like every segment matters. It's like when the Dexter Lumis stuff, like, did you see the random car that was wrecked that KO walked by? It's like, no, I didn't.
Nope,
Thank God for Twitter. I wouldn't have recognized any of this. So I go back and I'm like, oh shit, that did happen.
That did happen.
Like it makes it the cliffhanger stuff still there. Like it leaves you wanting more, which hasn't happened for WWE, especially on Raw for a long time.
Yeah, throwing in those Easter eggs, I think, and making you pay attention. So that's always a good thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I remember, you go back to all the times Chris Jericho would come back and they'd do those coded messages. I always thought it was really cool because it got people talking, it got them engaged.
Yep.
And I like this. Again, the only thing I'd say is I wish they did it a little bit longer if they are going to bring it back on Friday.
I mean, is there any? I mean, I think I agree. We all agree that's going to be Bray Wyatt. Is there anybody else that would make sense that it could be?
There's no one really else out there, right?
Nobody.
I feel like it's Bray or Cross.
I mean,
Cross is already
He's
there.
already there.
But like Raj said, like maybe I don't know. I have no idea. I
don't
think
know.
it's weird.
It has to be him.
The build has been. I mean, if you count playing White Rabbit at house shows over the last week as a build, it's been what, 2 weeks? So I think the build should be longer. And if he does debut, I feel like I'd want it to be at like a big event
Right.
more than like SmackDown.
I'm
But
telling you guys, if you work out, put that song on your workout list because it gets you going. Like it starts out slow, but it ends fast. It's good. It's good stuff.
what song?
White Rabbit.
Oh,
I'll have to
That's
listen.
a cool song.
I don't take music advice from people who don't know who Billie Eilish is.
Knew that was coming.
No, I think, give it a little more time, but I think you look at the landscape of who's not signed somewhere. I mean, they could do someone completely new, like a completely new character from NXT repackaged, but I think the crowd would just crap all over that.
There was a rumor it could be Joe Gacy. I was like, dude, he'd be the biggest heel in WWE. Oh, gee,
Yeah.
it would not go over well. They
It
already
would
call
not.
him like Bray Wyatt on Wish on Twitter.
They
So
do.
like
He
they don't
is.
need him.
No, they don't.
That ruined poor guy.
Yeah, no, that would be a fart in church, and I
I
think,
think
Triple H doesn't want to be throwing out eggs right now. He wants to have a bunch of hits. So
That makes sense. I kind of hope it's not Bray Wyatt just to watch the
Everybody
backlash
freak out
on
Friday
the
night.
People
internet.
freaking out on the internet. Yeah.
That made me laugh.
what if you remember when they used to have the bunny in Adam Rose's entourage?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, if Adam Rose comes back, I'll lose my
Rosebuds.
shit.
That's just Adam Rose.
Have them come out, and then the Fiend comes out and just destroys them.
Okay,
That actually
There we
pretty
go.
awesome.
I remember that. The rosebuds. Yeah.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Everybody'd be pissed.
They would.
Yeah,
Lights go out. He's here. Lights come back on. He's standing there
He's
dressed
gone.
as that rabbit or whatever, and a whole
Yeah.
different look.
That'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be awesome.
I like
Yeah.
that.
All right. So we got a couple more minutes. We like to do this game called Buy or Sell. Pretty self-simple. I mean, I'm sure you saw it before. We'll ask you something. You tell me if you buy it or sell it. These are things that we're curious about, that we argue with each other, but you're the expert, so we're going to rely on you.
All right, let's do
We're
it.
going to go AEW.
Oh, boy.
I'm a little bit critical. I might believe this statement to be true, but as time buy or sell, Tony Khan has lost control of AEW.
Sell. I think he was losing control, and I think he's getting it back. I think he's learning from experience. So
That's fair.
it was going downhill though.
Do you think CM Punk comes back, or do you think he's done in AEW?
I think he eventually comes back.
Okay.
I agree with that too.
I think getting MJF back on TV was a huge
Yeah.
get
was a
the
savior.
eyeballs off this media scum and get him back on like our biggest star, which
Mhm.
I think MJF's like their cat. He's money. Like
He is, yeah.
everything he like his interview that he did yesterday was like I still haven't watched and it bothers me. Like I really want to when he talks, you listen.
Absolutely.
He's the best. He's their top. He's their top guy right now, in my opinion, as far as combining promo skills, in-ring
Yep.
ability,
I
getting you
agree.
to pay
I agree.
attention. I think he's their number one.
So I'm hoping tonight. I guess probably why I get pissed off. Like I understand you got to bring in WWE or former WWE guys, and you know you shouldn't label them all as that. But then it's like it's Daniel Bryan and Moxley tonight. I really want him to cash in his chip and leave with that title tonight. Like I feel like that's something positive that AEW like that the fans would be like, oh my god, this is what we've been wanting. Like, and then MJF kind of taking off with the belt. People start forgetting about all that sour shit with the Young Bucks and all them, and just kind of focus on MJF being champion finally.
I thought CM Punk was still the champion.
No, he's gone. He's gone. They ain't even mentioned him on TV. And
No, they
like,
haven't.
nobody's saying his name. In the interview MJF did,
Yeah.
he wouldn't even answer like any CM Punk questions.
No,
They're not even acknowledging
I
that
know he's like
around.
injured and he's out.
No,
and
he's
stuff,
injured, but like they
Yeah,
haven't
he's
mentioned him
injured, too.
since that.
They haven't.
Since he went off on that
he's still a champion, isn't he? How
No.
can,
because he's hurt. They put the belt in a tournament.
oh, they did.
It's in a
I missed,
tournament.
I
that's
missed
what
that.
tonight is.
I
That's
missed
okay.
that. All right, I missed that.
Yeah, my guess is that Moxley wins tonight, and they do MJF and Moxley at Full Gear.
What they're gonna do.
But yeah, maybe it ends with Moxley winning and MJF lays him out and cuts a big promo. But I do think they should have something with MJF and Moxley. Or if they end up going with Danielson, there should be something with MJF getting in that world title picture tonight.
I agree.
I agree too.
So sticking on. Oh my God, Sebastian.
He loves
Sticking
bunnies.
on
He does.
the MJF subject, you're buying. That's not the right one.
Sorry.
Are you buying or selling that he eventually goes to WWE?
I mean, eventually I'd buy, but
It's like
as far
2024.
2024,
Yeah. He said he said in the interview that he got a pay bump, but he did not extend any time onto his deal. And they asked Tony Khan, I guess, yesterday, and how much money, and he just laughed and was like, "I'm not telling you guys that." But
it's a loaded question because if if MJF did actually sign an extension and they want to do the storyline, he wouldn't say that he did.
right.
But I think with the lay of the land, I think it's smarter for MJF not to sign right now and wait to see if AEW gets a better TV deal where they have even more money and make himself that much more valuable and have WWE and AEW competing. So it's too tough to say just based on the AEW TV situation because there's so much going on that front right now.
When is that supposed to be figured out? Isn't that coming up soon?
Yeah, and then it probably in the next 6 months. So this fall, early and in the winter is when they will be negotiating, and if they haven't been negotiating already. And right now Warner, they're in big cost-cutting mode. So are they willing to pay a big increase when they're cutting costs all over? And I don't think they'll cancel them, but are they going to give them a big increase? I mean, I have no idea.
Yep.
So,
I've always seen him to WWE, but I think he will be eventually.
Eventually, he will.
I think eventually he will, but for now, I'm going to go sell.
All right. Maybe it's wishful thinking on my part, but NXT becoming the third brand in due time. I only ask this because you look at the Solo Sequoia situation where he went down there, took the North American title to SmackDown. Ricochet's going down to NXT. Apollo's down there. It seems like Triple H is going to utilize NXT to kind of put main roster people down there that's been there in the past. And I think it might take a year or so, but I think his goal is to build that up into the third brand. Do you think that's going to happen, or do you think it's just going to stay developmental and stay the way it is?
I'm going to go sell on that. I think it's going to stay. He's going to definitely try to grow it, put more eyeballs on it. But are there going to be the same number of NXT matches as Raw and SmackDown at WrestleMania? So if we're looking at a third brand like that, are they going to be running their own house shows or being a part of those house shows? I just don't see it. And I think it's important that they do have developmental, and I do think it's important that they do give these talents a show that they can, improve their promos and everything on before they go to the main roster. So I'm going to say sell, but I think I think NXT is going to be a lot better 6 months from now.
Yeah, they're bringing back TakeOver.
They are.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that Vince really wanted to push as its own thing that wasn't developmental. What Triple H realizes we need it to be developmental.
Yep.
And I think we're already seeing that come back to how it used to be, to where they're getting their own pay-per-views. They're getting their own time slots.
I mean, the talent.
And it's not pushed in the face of the main stars.
When you look at the main roster, I mean, look at the top of the card.
Yeah.
Roman's from NXT, or FCW, but the Shield and the Wyatts were down there at the same time. KO and Zayn and Nakamura, Riddle, they're all from. Yeah, they're all from. That show's done a lot. And you look at the talent now. I think Carmella Hayes is superstar.
Superstar.
Grayson Waller, I think, is a future star. Ron Breaker, obviously. Cora Jade. Toxic Attraction. Mandy Rose is a whole different woman since she's been
whole new Mandy.
I think the only main roster that's been hired recently that wasn't there was AJ Styles.
Yeah,
Everybody else has to come through NXT.
They have so much talent. Triple H's only issue is going to be how do you use it. He's done little stuff put Da Vinci back in Imperium. That was such an minor move, but such big dividends. They should have never split them up. And even though I thought his gimmick was really good, but he'll continue to do it. It looks like, but. You shouldn't have split up Imperium. You shouldn't have fired 90% of your roster for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And they look like they're making a lot of that right. And the biggest thing with Carmelo, I think he's going to be someone that really benefits from Vince not being there, because his size is not going to be a hindrance like it probably would have before. Because he's got, like you guys said, he's got all the tools. Ron Breaker, I think everyone saw that already. He was on his way. And Grayson Waller's kind of the same thing. He's not the biggest guy, but I think he'll get a much better shot now.
Yeah, and Gargano.
Here's a question for you guys with that same mindset. Do we think that Adam Cole would have left if Triple H was in charge at that time period?
No. I don't think so.
I think the Undisputed Era would be fighting the Bloodline.
I agree.
At Survivor War Games.
Honestly,
I think that would be the thing.
Happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the hell would get. Well, Bloodline, I guess, would go over. But still,
sure.
no, I don't think. Aleister Black he's taking some time away. But there was reports that he was looking to try to angle to go back, but then he had signed a 5-year deal with AEW, but he didn't know how to maneuver to get out of that. But
That's pretty rough.
That
I
is
think a
rough.
lot of the people there was a couple people in AEW that had to feel like, damn, if this happened 6 months
Right.
ago,
We wouldn't be
I would
here.
have just stayed.
Yep.
Well, yeah, a lot of people. I mean, who thought last year that a year later Vince would no longer be in charge? So
I mean,
it's been a wild year. I mean, it's been a wild 6 months. Just
It has been, yeah.
Wrestling
News
and
and
this is a whole new road to WrestleMania. It's like a fresh start. It's like we've
It
seen it all
is,
before
yep.
Rumble. Like we know
Yeah.
how this works, but like this is Triple H's vision of what it's
Yep.
going to look like. So
Yeah.
like,
we've always said, he'd be so much better if it was Triple H, and now we're going to see if that's actually true. And,
and
so far,
it's so good.
It is
Raw's
so
been
good.
significantly better.
despite
Yes.
Logan Paul, but whatever.
Stop it.
Exactly. Despite him.
And we'll end on that. So, are you buying or selling Logan Paul going over to Saudi Arabia, dethroning
God.
Roman Reigns?
Sell.
Okay.
And, even if they had him do it, I don't think it'd get that much media publicity. I think it would get the same outlets that cover it already, and I don't think it'd lead to more people tuning in. So it would just be a bad idea.
There's no way.
Twitter would
No.
explode.
There's no
It
way.
would explode.
It would be like when Goldberg beat the Fiend times 10.
Yeah, that'd be
I feel like on
It would be
social
bad.
media. So Saudi Arabia, we used to record on Thursdays, and Saudi shows come on at like 1 our time. So like when I got off work, we kind of just go through it. We like skim through the stuff so we could break down the show. And Goldberg beat the Fiend, so we decided to just scrap all our preparation and just sit here
We
and
did.
complain about Goldberg for 2 hours
We talk shit
and how
about
Vince
Goldberg.
doesn't care
You guys
about
did, yeah.
young talent and killed
Poor
the
guy.
Fiend and all that shit. So yeah,
Well, I can't blame Goldberg. That wasn't his decision.
Look, I find Goldberg.
That's not-
Look, and the report was that he went over and he said, I'm not losing to him. And then in interviews, he said, I never said that.
No, he never said that. I've interviewed Goldberg tons of times. He's a good dude. He never has problems doing
He's
jobs.
the last couple times, like with Lashley, he was really good. And Drew,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I listened to him on Jericho's podcast recently, and he was like, "Dude, I'm just the talent. I show up to do. I do what they tell me. It is what it
we'll
is."
just blame
Yeah.
Vince.
It was Vince's call. He wanted to go with Roman and Goldberg. Just thought that was a bigger match than Roman and the Fiend.
Mhm.
Goldberg got the our end of it.
He did.
Not he was supposed to do it, but
He
like
did.
we just talk shit.
He sure did.
I think Goldberg's a good dude. My wife, she has a good story about Goldberg. She went and saw him when she was a kid, and her brother couldn't be there because he was sick, and he took a picture with her with his name and she's like all about he was super cool with the kids, and she's like, "Why do you hate Goldberg so much?" I was like, "Just fuck him. I don't know."
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the Attitude Era and that 98, 99, he was just. He was just awesome, and look, I don't think he should be being put in title matches or anything now. But I think having him in a feud with Matt Riddle, where he could bring a lot of the real life into it,
That'd be cool.
and
Yep.
stuff like that, and him putting over some of the younger guys, but not losing every match. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything
Doesn't matter.
if he loses every time. But win some, loses some, loses a big one to Matt Riddle, and it helps elevate a guy like that.
I agree. The older I get, the more I like Goldberg. But we were so mad.
The older you
And
get.
I didn't let the Fiend thing go for a while.
You
I
did.
just felt like WWE had this thing, and they're like, it's beautiful, and like it's going to make
it away.
it's perfect. So let's shove it right into the title picture right after it debuts.
And ruin
Put
it.
it in the worst
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell match in history.
Yeah.
Job him out to Goldberg, who's part time, and then expect him. And, oh, why isn't this guy like as over? But it's like, oh shit, he still was.
Yep.
And then Vince was like, he didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Then you see the Firefly Funhouse, and you see the potential. Like this, it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Mhm.
I watched it the other night actually because me and my buddy was talking about it. It's like this is perfect. Like I got done watching it, and I went to Twitter like, what just happened? And you see all the theories and all the little tidbits that they dropped in that. It was really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
And then
No,
2 weeks later, he's fired. It's like, what the hell happened? It's like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this year's Wrestle when they did the whole thing with him getting burned and all that stuff
Yeah.
was pretty bad. But yeah, him getting beaten in like 3 minutes by Randy Orton, that was.
pretty rough.
You just knew that he probably wasn't along for WWE after seeing that. Like he had soured on someone, something fierce.
Yeah, and the lights went out and came back on during Bliss's match on Raw. I don't know if that was an
Yeah.
accident because I know they had
It
like
did.
the issues last week where like Raw went off the air for a minute. But I mean, it did go off in her match. She
It
was with
did.
Bray.
Yep. I hope
Maybe that's part of
I
it.
hope they're done with that character with her though. But I was kind of sad to see that she lost on Monday
I
to
know she
Bayley.
Did.
Well, yeah,
She
Bailey's
lost.
about to
Ugh.
fight for the championship.
Well,
Bailey's not
Bailey ain't gonna
right
lose
now.
anytime soon.
It was a good match.
It was good.
I like Alexa Bliss.
All right, before we let you go, you give us one for the rest of year 2022. That's horrible. I have to ask. Got one. You have any bold predictions for the rest of 2022 of something you see happening that maybe people aren't thinking about right now?
I think people are starting to expect Paige coming back tonight. I know Fightful had a report that she was in talks over the summer. Unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So Paige is supposed to go to AEW tonight.
There were talks about it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's a rumor about it.
Well, Khan said he had a surprise for tonight, so maybe
Well, that's
part
every
of it.
Wednesday.
That's every weekend. That is
He
every
does have
week.
a lot of surprises.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of, I mean, the well's starting to run dry, and at some point, you got to use those surprises in a big way. I mean, gosh, everyone's kind of taken. God, I can't for the rest of the year. I can't really predict anything. No, that's
Who
gonna be big.
takes? All right. So who takes when Roman loses a belt? Who do you think takes one of them?
I like that. That's a good question.
That is a good one.
I'll go Kevin Owens.
Who would you
Hope so.
prefer to take one of them? Kevin Owens.
I'd say Kevin Owens.
Okay.
Kevin Owens.
All of us as well.
Yeah.
All of us
All
as
day.
well. All day.
As soon as that, we did an episode, obviously right after Vince, the thing with him, I was like, dude, we got to record early. We got to extend this an hour. Like the main guy in wrestling history is gone.
Yep.
And it's like, who's this going to benefit the most? We're like, it's Kevin Owens. Like Seth
Yep.
was Triple H's guy. KO was Triple H's guy. He put him on Raw. He beat John Cena, stomped on the U.S. title.
He literally won him the match to get the belt when he won it in that fatal
He did.
4-way on Raw.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it opens up a whole bunch of new matches with KO back on top. Being him and Seth would be new again. You could do him and Edge, even though it's babyface versus babyface. And there's just a ton of stuff that opens up.
absolutely.
A lot
I
of-
mean, babyface, but at the same time, Kevin Owens, I think he's
They
kind of more of
said
an
they put him-
anti-hero to where he's kind of like Austin, to where he can be a badass who beats up good guys but still
Mhm.
gets cheered.
Yeah.
Kinda
Oh,
what I'm
absolutely.
doing now.
that is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got the fight pit. See,
Yep.
it's the little stuff. The
Yep.
fight pit in NXT was so great. And Riddle didn't even win.
He did.
Thatcher went over in that match, right? It was him and Timothy Thatcher. Thatcher went
Yeah.
over and Riddle went on to
Mhm.
SmackDown.
He did.
But it is Riddle's match. So Riddle's going to win this one, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I think he has to. I think it kind of buries Riddle if he loses again.
I agree.
Right, I agree too.
Hey, you got any early, I promise this last thing. Ronda Rousey, do you think she takes the belt back from Liv at Extreme
Oh
Rules?
God.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, I do as well. Liv had a
Yeah.
nice run. And for some reason, that seems to be the only thing that hasn't clicked
It's
with
her title.
the new
run.
regime
Yeah.
yet. Is just
Not
as
with us.
good
at
as
least.
Liv is and as deserving as hard as she's worked for the belt. Something is missing.
Right.
And
Yeah, they made her look weak in that match with Ronda. And
Yeah.
once you do that, kind of bury your baby face where she taps and then she's all proud of winning. I think that pretty much
she
hurt her.
thinks that she should just turn heel.
I think so too.
Okay.
Do a
Her
badass
solution,
promo.
but her solution for
Yeah.
everything is she's like, oh, Gargano almost
Hey,
lost
it's
his
not
match.
always that
He
way.
should turn heel. And it's like,
Yeah.
you can't turn the whole roster heel. Like,
But to her point, it
Yeah.
usually does work. It usually
It
does
does
give
work,
someone
yeah.
a fresh coat of paint. You don't want to do them too much.
Right.
That's
I
one
saw
of my
something
criticisms with
about
AEW lately is there's all these tag matches where the partner turns on someone after or at the end. There was
There-
3
there
weeks
was-
in a row they did that.
I know they did the trios thing, but I'm so sick of 6-man tags. And then it's
Yeah.
I'm over it.
It is.
Then it's the people in AEW that I love, that I like seeing on TV, they don't put on there all the time. Like the Acclaim, and MJF, whatever was going on there for his absence.
Mhm.
Christian Cage.
Those are the people you want to see. Then it's 45 minutes of a 6-man tag, and it's you could have used they have. I think the frustrating part is they have all the tools they need to be successful. They're just not using them correctly.
Right.
Because they have all the talent they need.
Yeah, and we'll see where they go tonight and see if it's kind of like a new era.
It feels like a big show tonight,
It
really
does.
big.
Big
Tony
show.
Khan's got a lot of pressure on himself for this one.
He does.
Yeah.
It's got the same idea after they, Omega and the Young Bucks are suspended, Punk's gone.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same idea of, when Vince was gone, it's oh, it's going to be different now. It's the same kind of feeling in a different way.
Yeah,
but,
it's to a lesser
different.
extent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
A good show.
Yep.
Well, we thank you for coming on. Make sure, like we said, we started to follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow. I follow him during Raw and SmackDown. I don't watch AEW live,
I do.
so
I do.
I pick through it and stuff I like. I watch stuff I don't. I don't. I do that through Raw and SmackDown, but over the last 2 months, I really don't have many complaints.
I don't even.
The maximum male models kind of creep me out, but other than
They
that,
do creep me out. They creep me
everything's
out,
been
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
The secondary titles mean a lot. The tag titles mean a lot. The Brawling Brutes all of a sudden are like, Sheamus is like a crazy over baby face, and the Brawling Brutes are over. Like,
The women's tag
it's a fun
titles
time
are
in
back,
WWE
and they
right
mean
now.
something.
I'm hoping
It's
AEW
crazy.
can get it back on track.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to see Daniel Bryan with the title tonight, though.
I'm not arguing with that.
I like that too.
Sorry, Bryan Danielson.
Brian,
Whatever, same thing. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, guys. It was so much to
Yeah, absolutely.
I can talk.
All
It was
right.
super fun to talk with you. And be sure to check out WrestlingInc.com. It's a great website.
Yeah.
Like Josh said, great follow.
What time
Great
do you go
follow.
on after AEW tonight? Directly after?
Probably like 5-10 minutes after. We're going right after.
Yeah, check out his post show. That's how I first became familiar with you. I've always used Wrestling Inc. for my info. But it's like, oh, we do a Raw show, so I'd watch it.
Yeah.
There
And
you
Matt
go.
Morgan would shit on Raw, and I was like, no, I don't want to listen to this anymore. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah, Raw was rough back then, so some of the
There was.
brutal honesty was good because Raw. There's been some really forgettable Raws
Yeah.
over the past couple of years for sure.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you all again for having me. I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
And,
Thanks for
yeah,
being
and thank you. And you all take care.
Yep,
All right,
you as well. Have a
well.
great night.
You
Good
too.
luck on your show tonight.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Oh,
All right,
we're
that's
not even-
it.
we're not-
Fuck you. See you next week.
Hey, everybody else, we're fucking leaving
No,
too.
We're done.
We're not even centered. Holy shit.
Yeah, we're all fucked up. Look, we're full screen again.
Yeah,
We
we're
are.
full screen, but
Dude, I
that's
was
why I
kinda
can see
ner-
we're
look,
not centered.
I've
That's
literally
crazy.
followed that guy for years.
I have too.
He's so fucking
that was
cool.
neat.
He
And
is cool.
He's like the chillest guy.
Yeah, I was like, you're saying that Wrestling Inc. I was like, I think I know Wrestling Inc. That's actually one of the few, 'cause like the whole dirt sheet shit, I don't really pay attention to, but Wrestling Inc. is one that I would
Mhm.
take seriously.
Me
So
too.
that's really cool.
Yeah,
Good
it
job
was
for getting him
cool.
on the show, man. It was awesome.
That is
He's
awesome.
a good dude.
But anyway, we still have wrestling to talk about because it's
Yeah.
only 7:10 p.m.
We're
Eastern
not done
Standard
yet.
Time on your favorite Wednesday night wrestling podcast, regularly scheduled hostilities.
We're far from done.
So what else we got? Maybe Josh is done. I don't know.
I'm not
Josh,
done.
Josh is in his own world right
I
now.
am. Hold on. I'm retweeting. Like look. Leave me alone.
He's over here advertising, producing, talking. He's doing all of it, man.
He's doing all
I'm sitting here
the
drinking like an asshole.
Okay. Well, I didn't get to ask him this, and now it's pissing me off. I was about to message him like, "Hey, get back on one more question." So Asuka was holding Lily last night,
She
or on
was.
Raw,
Holy,
and so Asuka,
Like Lily, the dog.
yes,
Yeah,
because
she
Alexa was fighting.
Oh, makes sense.
So Asuka's holding Lily. In Japan, I guess she had this character where she was like a demon, fucking thing, and she's crazy, and like that's where she got really over in Japan.
Sure.
And then I guess the whole time she held Lily, she just like stared.
she was creepy.
So like maybe Asuka's finally getting a character change to where she's gonna go like
Big
crazy,
parts.
yeah,
nuts.
like go back to
Of the
her
Fiend.
roots
Yeah.
of her shit. Not to the Fiend, but like
Oh, the
back
Fiend
to
thing.
her roots.
I got you.
I don't think the Fiend needs anybody.
I agree.
He
With you.
don't need
And when he
nobody.
comes back, he doesn't need to be paired with anybody.
I agree with that all day.
But-
But you're saying that Asuka's gonna go back to the badass that she used to be.
No, like her. We haven't seen this character in
Right.
WWE, but she's fucking like crazy
She's
psycho character or whatever.
With the green shit on her eyes that she still does that.
Tidy
gross.
Whiteys. Appreciate you tuning in. He's tweeting about us. He said, "Good job, RSH. I was entertained by this. Clapping hands.
Oh,
Thanks.
Loved that I heard KO taking one of those belts. I think
Yeah.
KO's the unanimous
Yeah.
choice for
He
who
is.
should be
should be one.
representing
Triple
Raw.
H knows that. Like,
He knows.
And yeah. I think they flip everything that Vince wanted to do. They do KO versus The Rock at
Actually,
WrestleMania.
I wanna ask him about
and they
that
do
shit,
Cody
too.
Rhodes and Roman Reigns.
it's like, do we all just picture Vince McMahon sitting around watching this shit and being like fucking pissed?
Mad.
Because like, why are you doing that? Like, and you know, and they're still in contact. I mean, that's his son-in-law.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like he.
Yeah.
Like, is this gonna make it's Christmas gonna be awkward
Imagine,
this year?
dude, yeah.
Thanksgiving gonna be
Nah,
awesome.
he said, no, look. He sits down. He goes, Karrion Kross is world champion, huh?
Pass the mashed potatoes.
I had him as a gladiator.
Where's this fucking helmet?
Pass the mashed potatoes.
But seriously, how much for the wife?
How long has she been on the roster?
Like, I mean, because think about that. Like,
I
you know,
fired her. No, I know. I've thought about
Yeah.
that as well. Like,
Yeah.
he's got to be getting pissed. Because
like
like,
he
he
does.
thinks
quit signing all these people I
it's like
fired.
I don't want him.
you're ruining my company. But it's like in reality, it's
The ratings are going up.
it's the vice versa.
Like it's already
Yeah.
worth.
So I just really would love to know what Vince, like right now, what Vince thinks of this
That'd
product.
be great. I'll reach out to him see if he'll come on the show.
He'll come on.
It's funny.
It won't be an issue.
Tyson Kidd's my next reach out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while because
I'd love to see
I
his
want to
opinion.
know the dynamic back. Like I
Yeah.
want to know the differences.
Absolutely.
And that's a great question to ask him because he would know.
Yeah, he would.
All right, so big thanks from this week before we
Bounce.
Riddle and Seth
Riddle and Seth.
fight pit. That
so
should be
I
great.
was going to ask you about that because I didn't watch the NXT Fight Pit shit. So what is that?
It's a big ass fucking cage. It's sort of like a cage. It's like an octagon and a steel cage
That's
combined.
pretty cool.
And then, but there's a part to walk around and fight above the top. And there's
Oh,
like a
that's cool.
drop. Like when you throw them, it's a fucking drop.
Oh,
So it's like a very unique cage situation.
And that's going to be Extreme Rules?
Yeah.
Cool.
that's a big
You
one.
can watch Timothy Thatcher, Matt Riddle, Fight Pit, NXT, Takeover something. No, it was on just a Takeover. No, it was just on an NXT show, but you can probably Google and find
Sure.
it. But the
I knew it was an
it's
NXT
pretty-
thing.
it's a Riddle thing.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. That's cool.
Riddle has his own match, which he's 0-1 in.
Makes sense.
But anyway,
That's all. That's all. It was.
Riddle's going over.
He's
Like,
going over.
for
Kane-
people keeping track at home for our Extreme Rules picks, which I think we're having Bebe come on to tell us why Halloween's better without Michael Myers.
That guy will get destroyed
But
by
I
me.
think Ronda's
He's
going over,
Yep.
and I think Riddle's going to win.
He is.
And I think at some point Riddle's team is going to fight Seth's team at fucking Survivor Series,
yeah.
and that'll be the tiebreaker. But I don't see Riddle losing this.
I don't either.
And then we already have this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Roman's winning that as well.
Yep. He's
But anyway,
going.
Wing.
what else happened?
But just
this
real quick,
week?
you mentioned that how he lost his match. Kane is like, I think always lost all the Inferno matches too that he was
Yeah.
in. That was his
Poor
match.
Kane.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. that means he has to win this one.
Right. I agree with that.
He has
I hope so.
War Games, AEW, if WWE
Pumped.
gives you like $400,000, just let Regal go back and say War Games, and then you guys can have him back in AEW.
That's another name. Like, we mentioned when he
Oh,
was
dude, he
earlier.
would have never
Right.
been
Right.
gone.
I mean, he was fired. He
No,
was
Triple H would have never let that
Right.
go. Like,
He
Yeah.
wouldn't. No.
So, like, how much? That's how we're talking about these contracts with AEW. Like, I mean, contracts are contracts, but you can buy out of them.
I mean, Alistair just got out of his.
You know?
Some reports are saying that like mentally he's not doing well, which I hope.
So I
that's
think
not
he's going
the
to take his
case.
time off, which is fine. Which
Right.
I get that. But like Triple H has. I'm sure WWE has the money. If they really wanted Regal back, they'd be like, "Hey, we'll pay
Yeah, but he
whatever
has
we
the
need to
money
pay."
do whatever.
I'm saying like contracts are contracts, but just
This
because.
AEW is not going to give up their fucking cult leader,
Right.
Right, they're not.
So I mean, there's that part of it.
Blackpool Combat
Blackpool combat.
soccer
Yeah.
team.
I'm talking about Regal more than
That's what I'm
Malachi,
saying.
But like, I
Like-
mean, you can buy out of contracts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just because he's signed until 2024 or whatever doesn't mean that's necessarily going to be in concrete. Like
Right.
you
Like,
can
that
buy out
could
of
change.
contracts.
And we're headed to Extreme Rules.
Yep.
The two matches we flashed, we got Riddle, Seth at a fight pit. And we got Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan for the.
Bailey and Bianca.
It's not official
Not
yet.
yet.
That'll
But
probably
Bailey
Not
did
yet.
scream Extreme
She
Rules,
did.
but I checked like I did before every show we do in WWE.com. That's where I
guy.
steal the
She
pictures
did
from.
want it in an
They do
extreme.
not have that listed as a
Not-
match on
not
Extreme
yet.
Rules yet,
No.
so I am not counting it.
Bailey accepted it.
I'm right now like with the Logan Paul thing. I'm like, it's whatever, but like
That's how I feel.
then I see Triple H there, and I'm like, okay, I'm cool with it. Like
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
he just makes it okay.
He does.
Like
the fact that
that
it's Crown
Triple H,
Jewel, I'm cool with.
well, the fact that Triple H is there, it's like when you go like to some place you've never been, and you're like, man, it's weird. Like I don't know anybody. Like the first day of school, and like you go there and you're like, let's say middle school. You go there and you're like, shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
All my friends from sixth grade are gone. Like, oh shit, he's here. Okay, I'm good. That's how I feel with Triple H. I'm like, man, this press conference, and Triple H comes out, hey, welcome, Mike. This press conference will be badass. Triple H. Like,
Yep. Triple
I
H-
trust whatever's going on. It's like he's earned my trust until
Yeah.
he's really gonna have to fuck up to break my trust. Though.
Right.
He brings
Well,
the Fiend back. He's forever a
I'm
legend.
gonna be honest with you. When I saw Logan Paul, I thought that's a WWE thing to do, and I was like, well, actually, that's a Vince thing to do. But I understand you still have a business to run. It is a business, so I'm not
And
pissed.
it's Saudi,
And it's Saudi,
Yeah.
so I'm like, it
so
is
it's
what
not
it
like
is.
everything's
Yeah.
up to them.
And that's why I'm like, it is. If it was WrestleMania, I'd be fucking pissed.
Right. Me too.
but it's
hey,
Saudi.
look, and they're showing the Fiend. He's scattered
He's-
throughout WWE.com.
Yeah,
like
that's
they're
totally-
trying to fucking
Yeah,
give me a
they
look.
are.
There's Alexa doing they're trying to give me a heart attack.
They are.
Okay, Fiend better come back.
You know, it's the. We all know it's the
we
Fiend.
better
know he's
be.
coming back at some point.
9:23
That's SmackDown.
at 9:23.
That's the end of SmackDown. I dig it. Unfortunately, I don't watch it live, so if it happens, I'm not
I'm
gonna
probably
be.
not either.
Yeah.
I might get on my phone.
Oh, there you
YouTube
go.
TV.
Like 9:20, turn on.
Like, what the fuck's going on here?
9:20, turn it on. What we got?
What the heck's going on?
Oh, and in case you guys forgot, we are on YouTube. Welcome to RSH.
Yep, they
and
are.
Chuck still has no fucking clue about how she is.
Still
My top
don't.
10 is on geekbuddy.com. Check it out. Is the greatest top 10 list of all
I'm
time.
pretty sure she's a child.
And-
from pictures that I've seen.
And
She does.
and my Saw movies ranked 9-1. Just dropped today. Go check that out.
Hell yeah.
And
There it is.
I got-
900, so 67 days.
Well, it's gonna come.
Me and this belt had a lot of fun when I only had 69 days left. till
That's
the
why
thousand.
look at all the marks on it.
That's why it's white.
The bite marks.
Oh God.
My title belt looks like Kenny Omega after a media scrum. So
Media scrum.
When
yeah,
I
so he
win
had
that,
bite marks on his arm.
Yeah.
That was a great
when I
joke.
win that, you're cleaning. it.
I loved it.
For
I
my
loved
hold-
it.
For I hold that.
I'm going to 1,000 days. That's my
You
goal.
I
can
mean,
clean
yeah.
the germs off.
All right, so 67 days from now, I ain't even gonna show Raj my belt.
Yeah, you always wear it. Should be doing the show. What the fuck?
Yeah, he didn't have a shit ton of time. Your birthday
My birthday? Are you kidding me?
is my 1,000th day as champion.
You get the money in the bank briefcase.
It's gonna be cashed
you
in before
got
that.
time to cash that shit
It's
in.
gonna be cashed in before that.
You better
Remember,
cash it in
I don't
on
defend
your
it in
birthday.
Saudi,
No, you don't.
so we don't do Saudi.
No.
WWE doesn't defend their
Yeah, so, like,
their rep in
You got
Saudi
Extreme
either.
Rules, and then you got Survivor Series.
It's gonna be.
I think Survivor Series will be a great day for Yvonne to take that belt using that briefcase.
Before my birthday, it is
Oh my god,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
coming to an end.
Saudi.
coming
Come on,
in.
Logan Paul.
Fucking Saudi. Fucking Logan Paul.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, even my buddies, we were hanging out in Nashville, and they were like, we were talking about it because he likes football, and he thought that the Adam Cole shit on McAfee's show was real. It's like, no, bro, that was kayfabe. Like they had a
That was
match.
kayfabe.
They had a match later. But yeah, nobody knows who the fuck Logan Paul is.
I wish I didn't.
Me too.
He looks like a bumblebee.
He has
with all
pretty
his-
eyes. I wish I had his eyes. I'm not gonna
Why is
He
lie.
looks like a bumblebee with
Oh,
his
so
yellow gear. It
John
creeps me out.
Cena has set the Guinness Book of World Records
He
for the
did.
most Make-A-Wishes.
Good for him.
I thought we already established
650.
that. He just keeps getting higher. He already won that
No,
last
today
year.
they put him in the Guinness Book of World
Oh
Records.
wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's cool.
good,
650.
good for John Cena.
Jimmy
That is
Bebe, you I know you watch eventually. His best Make-A-Wish was getting CM Punk over because CM Punk wasn't getting there on his own.
You're never like.
I mean, it
that,
only
are
took
you?
him 20 fucking years.
We've
you
already
know.
discussed this.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I have tattoos and I look methed out. Like, yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he says that, but Triple H also never smoked, and I fucking saw him smoke live in person, 5 feet from me, out of his limo.
You
I
did.
think when CM Punk says he didn't like his feud with Jericho, I think it's because he's really an alcoholic. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Could be. I feel like there's gonna be some time where I meet Triple H in real life. I shook his hand or whatever, but when I actually get to talk to him, I'm gonna say that to him, and he's gonna be like, "They were menthols. I have that happening in my brain.
he's gonna tell you
And
they
Chuck
were
can say
menthol.
liar and point right at him.
They were just menthols. That's not really smoking."
You liar! I saw you.
How far away from Extreme Rules are we?
I don't-
It is Extreme Rules.
I don't know, man.
October
Like I haven't
It's not
watched the
October.
these past 2 weeks. I'm kind
Is it
of.
in October?
something. It is in
It
October.
usually is, yeah.
If
Survivor,
it's in fucking October,
Survivor Series is in November.
I type in Extreme Rules, Bray Wyatt, Easter egg spotted on poster, brutal fight pit match. It made it's all good shit.
Josh
though.
will have a heart attack if he don't see the Fiend.
I know, dude, but I hope it is the Fiend. I'm with him.
I do too.
I do too.
September 26th. So we
Okay,
got
so
it.
Oh,
I thought it was
the
October.
day
Wait.
before my birthday.
That's 2021.
Ah, fuck.
Exactly. See, I can.
Is it my birthday?
Today's the 21st.
It is.
It's like that's this Sunday. Like what the fuck? Like I don't even make Saturday, October
Called it.
8th.
It's October.
All
All right, so
Called
the
it.
Fiend coming back now. They still got a full month to build.
They do.
Yeah. I mean, what's Extreme Rules? Because we know Reigns ain't going to be there.
No.
No.
So what else we got going on? Right now, Riddle.
Riddle, Seth,
Liv and Ronda.
Drew and Cross,
Yep. That'll be another one.
Bianca Bailey.
Yep.
Probably Sasha and Naomi come back at some point because I heard the reports are. Well, there's two possibilities for the one. I guess we'll end with it. Who would you guys? So it's 5 War Games are 4-4.
Oh yeah, the women.
There's going to be a
I
men
didn't
and a
know
women.
about-
So let's start with the men because it's probably going to be the easiest one.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Bloodline versus whom?
I'll probably be a mixture of guys. Probably Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre,
And
McIntyre.
Sami Zayn.
Sami
Sami
Zayn.
Zayn.
Well, maybe if
I
he
think
turns
that
by then. Bobby
KO,
Lashley.
look, I think they could use a cool. They can have KO keep going to try to recruit them.
Hear me out on this one because there's no titles on the line, so it's just going to be just
Yeah.
for pride.
Mhm.
What if Sami Zayn screws over the Bloodline to help out Kevin at that show? And so they
Good.
lose.
accidentally.
Sure.
Accidentally.
When he does it,
whatever.
it's going to be an accident.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
And
an
then, like on
accident.
SmackDown, they're like, "We forgive you, Sammy. It's okay." The Roman beats the fuck out of him. Then KO
And then-
comes out and saves him.
exactly.
That's
And
it.
then
That's
the
it.
Uso rivalry starts there because I still think they're taking the tag belts from them.
Triple H,
I
take
do
notes.
too.
That's it.
They're going to. Yep.
All right, then the women's.
I didn't think of that.
So the rumors are Damage Control versus Bianca and Company versus Toxic Attraction,
I like that.
Sure.
I like
which
that.
they get Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose and Company straight to the main roster,
God,
which
that'd
Toxic
be good.
Attraction has appeared on SmackDown.
They have.
Which
Yeah,
is
they
why I
have.
asked Raj about the third brand, because you see they're slowly leaking
They are.
other good people from NXT up and good people from WWE down to
Mhm.
just, and I'm almost stop saying down because NXT's fine.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
just not a main roster show because Vince did not want it to be a
He
main
did.
No, I think it's Survivor. I think Triple H didn't want it to be, and this was like, oh, we have to fight AEW, so it's going to be. I think Triple H. Is
I mean,
the
like
one who
Survivor
wants it to
Series
be.
that one year NXT won.
Well, that was out of desperation because of their airport thing. They had to do something. I mean, I really think Vince thought that they could do it. That's why they turned into 2.0 with the weird colors. And Triple H understands we need developmental. And I think
Mhm.
that's why we're kind of getting back to that format that it used to be. I think Triple H was like, no. And Vince was like, yeah. And it's going to be flashy and it's going to be great. Like, that's kind of why I see. Because, I mean, he's going back to how it used to be. And that's how it used to be, was developmental. They get big, as they should, because the point of them, and then they go to the main roster, huge, with the same gimmick, with the same name, with what got them over in the first place. That's the point of developing, is to get you over, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
All right, women's, Yvonne. I think it'll be 4-4. I mean, that's typically how they book it.
Yep.
So it would have to be like,
So it'll obviously be Damage Control.
there's 3. Damage Control and
That's Bailey's group, right?
Yep.
yeah, Damage Control
Who?
and
Somebody.
Ronda.
Will she
Charlotte?
be in
Charlotte?
that, or will she, I think she might be in
Should
a
it be
singles.
storyline? It might just be 3-on-3.
Could be.
But like, I don't think it would be Bianca and them again.
No. That is a tough one. I
Let
was
me
thinking.
use the internet.
The thing I like about Survivor Series with these teams, I like it when there's like people who don't like each other storyline wise on the same team for Survivor Series.
Yep.
Like how when Seth Rollins took himself out, you know.
He did. Yep.
It's like I like that. That's one reason I like Survivor Series, even though it has been watered down here, you know, since
So it'd be Damage
the PG
Control.
era. But
I'd like to see a Toxic Attraction, but they're not going to come up with that right now.
That'd be Bailey and Company, probably with somebody. Maybe they could add to the group.
Maybe
They're
they
talking about
have.
adding Indy Hartwell from NXT.
I like
yeah,
that. I
I
like
can see
that.
that. Yeah,
They
absolutely.
just called up
She needs a
Gargano,
new
and they're
gimmick.
kind of
Oh, God, she needs
they're
a
kind
new
of
gimmick.
linked. Well, Indy's fine.
I know,
She's
but
putting
she
people
just
over on
needs
her
to
way
move.
out of NXT.
She just
She's going to the
needs to
main
move.
roster. Gargano's there. I mean,
But she needs to move up.
all right, the woman one would do TBD,
That's tough.
but
That is
I
a
mean,
tough-
we got 2 months to
that is
figure
a
it out.
tough one.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it's
would
2
be
months
you know,
away.
we're
Bianca
getting 2
would
War
kiss
Games
somebody.
matches.
Yep.
I'm excited for that. I got when I saw that, I was like, hell yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch.
It's
I mean,
good
I
matches.
watched the NXT War Games, just the match, because I like that concept.
They're great.
It's
matches.
fun, yeah. I mean, I never watched the WCW version because I never watched WCW, but I liked that shit. It's fun.
Let me use Twitter.
On the Twitter.
On the Twitter, yep.
Well, I've seen some shit on here.
So what do you guys think? You listeners, who do you think is going to be at War Games? Team versus team, ladies, women, men. We would love to hear it. Love to. So go to RSH, at RSH Wrestling on the Twitter, or go to the RSH Facebook page. Either way, we'll see it, but we'll be more likely to respond on Twitter because Facebook is for old people these days. So
Hey, you use Facebook.
I know,
I
and
do
I'm
too.
fucking old.
I do too. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say
Fair
nothing.
enough.
I call it the Facebook.
The
The
Facebook.
Facebook, I like
Oh
that.
my god.
That was the original name of it.
Yeah, I know.
That's funny.
The Facebook.
The
yeah,
Facebook.
Yeah, I saw the fucking
I never
movie.
knew that.
I never saw the
yeah,
movie.
you
Like-
did.
I never saw the movie. I remember it when it first came out because I'm not
I've
fucking
never
old.
watched The Social Network. That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
I was there when it became in fruitation, and it was only for college students at first. And then I got into college. I was the guy got it. Dude, my first Facebook profile used my college ID because they had to. And yeah, I'm not old, guys. So I just didn't watch the movie because I'm not a big fan of Jesse Eisberg, whatever his fucking name is.
I love Jesse.
I like him in Zombieland, but that's about what
I
it
don't
is.
really care for him either.
You guys fucking cute.
He was Lex Luthor, and it was the worst Lex Luthor. I know he cried about it on Facebook like 2 weeks ago. I was really like sad. I don't understand why they don't like it. Yeah, why be crying about it? Anyway,
That's how that goes.
Make sure.
You can also, if you get mad at me for that, you can yell at me at RSH Wrestling as well. I'll see it and I'll respond accordingly. And just so all of you guys know, Halloween, the series, the movie series with Michael Myers, and I even like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch without Michael Myers.
Yep.
They are the best.
All right, Jimmy
They are the
Bay,
best.
I'm going to message you. Where are we at? 1 hour. Okay, perfect point. And tell you to go to the hour part of this. So you can listen to this. Somebody at this table has an issue with you saying the best Halloween movies are the ones without Michael Myers in them.
Yep.
Joking or not.
Who do you like? Jason Voorhees? Copy off Michael Myers. The creators even said, we watched Halloween, and we got to do that, but make it more bloodier because people will watch it. It's going to be shit. They don't care. It's going to be bloody. And that's exactly what they did. Same thing with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Granted, came out 4 years prior. Still shit. You know, there's I could go on. I won't because this is a wrestling podcast. But Michael Myers is the best.
He is the best.
I got 2 masks. I got a Michael Myers in my house right now. Sometimes we cuddle. It is what it is.
Heck, he may walk around the screen. Who knows?
Yeah, I ain't scared. But anyway,
maybe.
Halloween Ends comes out next month, and I am pumped.
Me too.
And fortunately, it's coming out on Peacock same day as theaters. And I still have to work that day because I didn't take it off like I should have. I guess I probably still could. I ain't scared. But I have to go see it in theaters because I'm a fucking true fan of cinema. And so I have to stay off Facebook all day because, you know, there's jackasses on there. Oh, so-and-so dies.
They give it away.
Happened to Endgame, man. Right before I saw Endgame, I saw somebody fucking snuck one in there on a totally unrelated group post thing. Tony Stark dies. And I didn't believe it because I thought he was being a jackass, but he was just being a jackass. It's like, fucking idiots. So you can't be on Facebook the same day Halloween Ends comes out if you want to see it in theaters because they'll ruin it when they see it on
They
Peacock
will.
at fucking 9
On
a.m.
Twitter, they do that too.
Because they don't fucking work. Go to work. Shit. Anyway, I'll
Be a
stop.
grown up. Get a job.
Exactly.
Quit ruining movies.
What do you think about that?
Nothing.
Is that how it ends?
What?
Is that how RSH ends?
RSH is presented by SJP World
There
Media.
it is.
Follow us on Twitter at RSH Wrestling or at SJP World Media. We're also with WrestleBuddy at WrestleBuddy on Twitter and WrestleBuddy on Facebook. Go to thegeekbuddy.com. It just launched about a week ago.
Nice.
Obviously, WrestleBuddy, wrestling stuff, Geek Buddy, everything else, entertainment. So,
Well, if your boys want to do a podcast about Halloween, sign me up.
Jimmy Bay versus Chuck. Michael Myers pride on the line. I'm for it. I mean, Bay already showed that he can't, handle the RSH titles. Maybe he can handle
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
Oh, I'm very much more passionate about Michael Myers than I am CM Punk.
No.
Oh, he's done. Oh boy.
Okay.
There
So,
we
Jimmy
go.
Bay, I will reach out. We will figure out some way to theme this together.
We will.
Yeah. Thanks to Raj for coming on. That was really cool.
It was awesome.
I reached out to him, thinking maybe, and didn't expect nothing. Then he's
Sure.
like, "Yeah, let me know let me know." And he's like, he made the time, and
He did.
good dude. Make
He
sure
is
to go to
cool.
Wrestle Inc. One more time for him. Follow him at the Raj Giri, and he's
Yeah.
on WrestlingInc.com, co-founder of it or sole founder. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah.
and he'll be doing Dynamite.
Yeah, there we go.
And
Tonight?
he'll give you his brutally honest opinion of how the show goes too. So
I dig it.
check him out. They stream on their Wrestling Inc. Twitter, I think,
That's
after
cool.
the show. That's how I watched it, at least. They might do more, but that's the only one I'm aware of.
It's cool. I
Yeah.
like it.
So we'll see.
Yep.
And we got, I guess it ain't that far away. Why do I keep thinking October's so much further away than it is?
It's creeping up.
21st.
It is. It's
So we're a
coming.
couple weeks away. So, baby, that'd be next.
I turned 35 a week from tomorrow. Or that's not right. I turned 35 a week from yesterday. And that makes me really
Oh, so your
sad.
birthday is Tuesday.
Yeah, it makes me really sad. Because I don't want to be 35. Because then cause I kept saying in my 30s, I'm
So
still
I'll
like
have,
early.
I'll
let
have
me
to
mid.
win at Dart League in honor of your birthday.
As you should.
There you
Or
go.
I have to lose with honor
And
for
say
your birthday.
in mid 30s because now I'm 35 is mid 30s and that's
No, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to throw a dart, and if it lands on like a 1, I'm going to walk up to him like, stop, this ain't right. And I'm going to pick it up and put it on the hook.
that's it. I like it.
This ain't right.
I like it.
Before I delete the point, of course. Before I delete the initial.
This ain't
So
right.
we are, next week
Yep.
is not prediction show.
The week after.
The week
week
after,
after.
the 5th, will be our prediction show. And we'll have to get Baby on for that. So you'll have 2 weeks to manifest over your guys'
I'm gonna wear a Halloween shirt that night.
Uh-oh.
I have a Michael Myers shirt. I have like 4 of them. I'm gonna wear one.
I may have to wear mine. too.
What day do we film?
Wanna bring the mask down?
Around Halloween.
Well, funny enough, because we always do that. We do our Halloween costumes for the Halloween.
Fucking wait, Halloween's on a fucking Monday.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's life. It was on
So
a
the
weekend.
Halloween party I go to is on the 29th. It's not even the day of.
Be a Saturday.
That is weird.
I'm Jesus this year.
I mean, generally, when it's on a Monday, the Saturday before the Halloween is the big party, whether whatever day it
I
is,
just got to decide whether I want to break bread and throw it at people
Oh, for
on top of my holy water.
and throw wine at them.
But I don't know. I can't take wine into the bar with me.
Oh, yeah,
So-
you're right. That's fair.
It has to be water. But I can take bread in. But I don't know if people's gonna get mad if I hit them with bread. But I'm gonna go throw it at people I know,
They ain't gonna attack Jesus. you're right.
and they won't even know.
Let's avoid the Jews.
Oh God!
Let's throw bread at people.
That's
Luckily, Lucas don't go to the bar. He's still hanging out in the oven. But we gotta fucking. On that note, thank you for the one person that's watching
Yeah.
right now. Thanks for all that tuned in.
Yeah,
Like I said,
absolutely.
I
Raj,
know once he left, everybody else fucking left
Raj
too.
was
They did.
cool.
He was cool.
Yeah. Next week, we'll come up with something fun for next week. We don't know. I got a guest in mind. I'll reach out and when we know, we'll post it on the Twitter.
And if not, we'll just be drinking and hanging out and talking. Well, I'll be drinking. We'll all be hanging out and talking.
I drunk Coke Zero.
So that's going to wrap up this episode of Regularly Scheduled Hostilities, brought to you by Chuck Winchester, Yvonne DeBoard, and the current RSH Wrestling Heavyweight Champion of the World, Josh DeBoard.
If I'm still champion at Halloween and I'm dressed as Jesus, I'm going to wear this under my robe.
As you should wear above your robe, you're
No.
the champion.
Oh my god.
I'm being Stone Cold Steve Austin this year for Halloween. It's going to be fun.
I don't want to get holy water on my belt.
That's fair.
No breadcrumbs.
That's fair. So until next time, guys, reach out to us on the Twitter, on the Facebook. Let us know what you want us to talk about, whether it's current wrestling, whether it's past wrestling, whether it's the Euro Continental title, whether it's the Undisputed title. Let us know. We'll talk about it all day long. And until next time, continue to fear regularly scheduled